Hi guys. Thank you guys for joining me. Hopefully you can hear me. Let me know in the comments, of course, if you can hear me. That's always the first thing that I'm wondering about is my audio okay? Before we go ahead and get started. I have some time to hang out with y'all. And the last couple of times that I have that I've gone live, I always do it, but like I don't eat before I go live. So this time I ate some leftover spaghetti. So let me actually move my microphone a little bit closer. There. Okay. So hopefully I won't be hungry about an hour on in. So yeah. One thing that I wanted to talk about before we also get started is a PO box. Oh, thank you. Wow, we're starting early today. Thank you from Band 1442. He says, "Hi, David. Excited to finally join the stream. Thank you so much. I'm excited to have you here." What was I talking about? Oh, I purchased a PO box, and I'm sure Ken is very happy about that. So I have a story behind my PO box. I always start off my streams with my little stories. So back around Christmas time, I got, oh, it's Alex Drott. I'm about to tell a story about you. Good evening, Alex Drott. Yeah. I got an email from from a fan, Alex here, who's in live chat, and he was like, "Hey, it's almost Christmas time, and I would like to send you something. I'd like to send you a little gift." So I'm like, okay, I don't need anything. It's fine. But, if you want to send me a gift, I'm not going to say no. It's Christmas time, give gifts. That's fine. So I'm like, okay, whatever. So I was, corresponding back and forth with him through email. And then I told Ken about this. And Ken was like, "You gave out our address?" And I'm like, "Yeah." And he's like, "You gave out our address to some random person on YouTube?" And I'm like, "Yeah." And then Ken is like, basically he's like, you really shouldn't do that. You're probably too naive and too good for your own good. And I'm like, yeah. So anyway, he didn't send me a bomb in the mail, thank God. He ended up sending me this huge, wonderful, huge platter of like brownies and cupcakes and these little bullseyes. I think that they're called. They're the little. They're, they're like an Ohio thing or like a Northwestern American thing where it's like a whole bunch of peanut butter and then there's like chocolate around it if you've never heard of them before. But yeah, and and it came about a week or so before Christmas, and and I sent him an email and I was like, "Do you want me to go ahead and open it now whenever I get it? Or, what should I do with it?" And then he was like, "Well, you really should put it inside the freezer." So, oh, Crazy Nico Girl, they're Buckeyes. That's right, they're not bullseyes, they're Buckeyes. I didn't know what they were called. Yeah. Anyway, you can tell I'm not from Ohio. I am from Georgia, and I don't know these things. Anyway, and then he was like, "Oh, just put them in a freezer." And we just happened to have a chest freezer. Back during the shutdown, Ken, of course, was freaking out about how we couldn't find anything at the grocery store. So he decided to buy one of those huge, deep chest freezer things, And so I just literally dropped the entire box into the freezer. And then Christmas morning, I opened it up and we enjoyed those all throughout, the whole Christmas season and everything. So, but after that, Ken was like, "You better be getting a P.O. box." And I told Ken, I was like, "No one's gonna send me anything. Are you kidding me? I'm not gonna, like," I was like, "This is like a once a year thing. No one's gonna send me anything. Give me a break. I don't need a P.O. box." Then I get another email. Actually, it was a comment. It was a comment from, I don't even remember what video it was on, but it was Tom Derry. He commented and he said, "Hey, I was whatever I was talking about how I didn't have a hacked DS," and he was like, I have a hack DS. Do you want it? And I'm like, sure, why not? So, yeah, he went ahead and he asked for the address today. So I was like, okay, this is serendipitous. He asked for my address. If I give him my real address, Ken will have a shit fit. So I went out to the post office, and I've never done this before, but I got myself a P.O. box. It was actually easier than I thought it would be, although the girl at the post office didn't really know what she was doing. She had to ask people for help, and then even then I still had no idea what was going on. And speaking of having no idea what was going on, part 2 of my story. No, actually, no. Before we get to part 2 of my story. So the other reason why I did the P.O. Box was some other people in the chat last night were saying, hey, do you have an address where I can send you some things? And it kind of like clicked in my mind. Oh, yeah, Ken said to get a P.O. Box. So, yeah, I have a P.O. Box. It is in the video description, and I'm going to somehow add it to my About tab, the About page. So, yeah, you'll be able to see that and everything. So, anyway, the second part of my story. So, I kind of feel like I am the blind leading... Oh, I'll get to my second part of the story in just a minute. Thank you, Jeffrey Wright, for the donation. Thank you. He says, finally able to catch you live. Thank you for everything that you do and for being such an awesome person. I also wanted to contribute to the Switch Fund because you need some newish Nintendo in your life. I do need some newish Nintendo in my life. But don't worry, I will be getting my Switch in May for my birthday. So yeah, but thank you so much for the Switch Fund. Yeah, good Lord. Thank you. Second part of my story. I kind of feel like I'm like the blind leading the blind here because I've told you many times that I am not exactly computer savvy. I don't really know what's going on, and it just so happens that I'm on YouTube and I'm just having fun. I'm just here to play some games and have some fun and talk about stuff that I know. I'm not here to be, Mr. IT computer technical wizard. Like that's not who I am. That's not what I know. But then during the texting in it or the live chat, I was thinking, you know what? Maybe I should learn more about this live chat. So I'm fooling around with the little tabs on YouTube. If you guys don't know, because you don't have a page or what are these called? A channel. That's what these things are called. I don't even know what my thing is called. It's called a channel. So there's these like little tabs on the left-hand side, and some of them are just like, that's the one that I read the most of the comments. I'll go to the comments, and there's like a dashboard. There's an upload thing. But there's some other ones that I never really use, like analytics and customization and some other junk that I used whenever I first set up the channel 5 years ago. And back when I first set up the channel, there was like 5 tabs. Now there's like 20 tabs. It's kind of ridiculous, and I never look at any of them. But anyway. Oh, Michael. Well, it's almost happy 40. Your birthday is very close to my birthday. We can guess when my birthday is, but I'm going to say it's not May 22nd, but it's close. Anyway, so I'm looking at the tabs, and I'm like, there must be something in here about live chat, and I'm fooling around, and I finally find something, and there's like these little courses or classes that you can take, and you probably don't have to take them, but I'm so dumb, I'm like, I really need to take this stupid course. So I'm going through and I'm reading everything that YouTube has to say, and then they have like a little quiz at the end of the course, and it's just this little 4-question quiz or whatever. I failed the quiz. And it's not even like a quiz that you can fail. It's like the question was, so, do you feel confident now with live streaming? And I clicked no. And then it was like, do you feel nervous or apprehensive about this? And I was like, yeah. I was just being honest. And then and then there was another one. It was like, do you need extra technical support with doing this? And I'm like, yeah. And then a little blurb, unfortunately, YouTube cannot offer the extra technical support, blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, great, why'd you even ask me? And I'm like, I literally failed their stupid test. So I'm like, okay. I'm still gonna do the live streaming. I don't care if I fail their little test. Um, but yeah. Oh, there was something else in there that I found. There's these little badges. There's these cute little badges that you guys can get. Um, and I don't know how you, don't ask me how. I don't know how you sign up for the little badges, but there's cute little badges that you can get. And then there's these little, like, custom emojis that you can get. And I'm looking at it and I'm thinking, oh, I must be able to like pick out, from like from a predetermined list. I can pick out, what emojis I want to use. But then it isn't like that. You literally have to upload your own. And I'm like, how in the world do I upload my own emoji? And it's like, it has to be like 100 bits this way by 250 bits this way and over and this way, but not exceeding such and such kilobytes and blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, no. So custom emojis are out there. I don't know how to do it. It's out there. If any of you guys are really good at stuff like that and feel like emailing me a custom emoji that fits their random specifications, that would be lovely. But, yeah, I don't know. I was actually kind of thinking it might be cute to do like a little original girl emoji and then have like a picture of like Rydia, because she's a little original girl. Maybe a picture of Tia in there, or a picture of Celeste or Terra. Just some like actual original girls. I mean, if you really want to go way back, we could do Maria from Legend of the Ghost Lion. She's like the original girl. Oh, you know what? Alice from Phantasy Star. There's an original girl. Yeah, we can do little custom emojis of various random original girls. So yeah. Apparently, according to the comments, badges are something that I actually have to create or sign up for or something. I was just looking at the thing and I was like, oh, there's badges. Oh, okay, whatever. Apparently, I have to go back into there. I have to go back to the tab. I have to figure out which tab it was under because I have no idea. And I have to find those badges and I have to click the buttons that say, yes, allow these badges to come in. So yeah. Let's see. Let's look at, okay, I think that I am done with my story for now. I'm done with my story. So I will start going up through some comments and answering some of y'all's questions. Let's see. Oh, people are still talking about Chrono Cross, but Chicken Man. Gotta love the username. Chicken Man says, why don't you like Zelda? There's a controversial opinion if I've ever heard one. Here's the deal. It's not like I don't like Zelda. It might come across as I don't like Zelda, but I do like Zelda. It's just that I'm really, really, really bad at it. That wasn't always the case. Zelda 1, I have beaten first quest and second quest. Zelda 2, I have shockingly beat. Zelda Link to the Past, I have beaten. Link's Awakening, I have beaten. Oracle of Ages and Seasons and Minish Cap. Guess what? I have beaten. Does anybody notice a trend here? I can play a 2D Zelda perfectly fine, and I like 2D Zeldas. They're fine. They're wonderful. They're great. 3D Zeldas? Yeah, no. So, whenever we got the N64, so let me just give you a little bit of backstory. My brother got the N64, whereas I got the PlayStation, because I followed Square. And my brother Daniel was like, well, the NES was great, the SNES was great, the N64 better be great. And he, of course, purchased Ocarina of Time. And he's in there playing it, and I go inside, and I'm like, hey, how's the game? And he's like, oh, this is kind of fun. And he's like, but it's really hard. And he was in that tree. I think it's the Deku tree. He was in that tree. And he's like, he kept on falling. He's trying to aim the slingshot. He can't do it. And I'm like, you suck. How hard could this possibly be? And he's like, you give it a shot. So he hands me the controller, and first of all, I'm looking at the controller, I'm like, this doesn't look like an SNES controller. What in the hell is this? There's the 3 little things that go down. There's 2 different little joy pads. There's 6 buttons over here. There's a lot going on this controller. And I'm like, I don't even know where to hold it. I don't even know what to do to hold this stupid thing. And he's like, yeah, I know. So I'm playing around with it, and I'm like, after about 5 or 10 minutes, I'm like, good luck. I throw the computer, or I threw the controller on his bed, and I was like, you have fun with that. And I never really went back to it because the controller was so unwieldy, trying to aim things. And then he was talking about Z targeting. I'm like, where the hell is the Z button? He goes, the Z button's on the back of the controller. And I turned it around, and I'm like, they put a button on the back of the controller? Have they lost their minds? Are there not enough buttons on the front of the controller? Like, what in the world? And honestly, that entire experience, it really just burned me on 3D Zeldas. Maybe I'll give Breath of the Wild a try. Maybe that will be the one that will be like, bringing me back into the Zelda series. Not holding my breath, but maybe... Oh, I have a donation. But maybe it will be. This is from Yuchi Deletes. Here you go. I asked in chat, but if you had to play only one game for eternity, and it had to be one you hate, what would it be? If I could only play one game for eternity, and it had to be one that I hate, what would it be? Oh, God. Whenever I think about games that I could only play, like, once, like my little desert island games, I think of games that have a lot of replay value. Games such as Final Fantasy V, because of the job class system, or Final Fantasy Tactics, because, again, of the job class system. But if I could only... God, this is a hard one. First of all, I have to think of a game that I hate. I know that you guys can probably think of many games that I hate, but games that I hate, but also have a job class system that... I almost want to cheat here and use Dragon Quest VII. Not that I hate it, but I do think it's boring, but it does have a job class system, so I would use that. But not to cheat. If I wasn't going to cheat, just say Dragon Quest VII. What do I want to pick? My mind, and it might just be because I'm reading through the comments here, my mind is actually going straight to Chrono Cross. And the reason for that is it has replay value because of all the random characters that just are like, oh, I like the looks of you. Let's just join up and have a party. Yeah. So the random characters, and because of all the elements and the way that you can kind of distribute the elements to your various characters and all that. I guess it would, oh God, I don't even want to say Chrono Cross, but like that's actually that's a really good question. You know what? That's a question that I'm going to really think about, because I don't want to just give a wrong answer. Like sometimes, it's those of you of a certain age will know this. Whenever you're in a job interview and you're sitting there and the interviewer asks you some question and they're like, think of a time that you went above and beyond in your last job. And then you're like, and you like and you want to answer really quick so you don't look like, like you don't know what you're talking about, but you also want to think of like the best answer. You really want to put some time into thinking about the correct answer to that question. That's the same thing. I'm sure that there is a correct answer to that question. I'm just going to need some time to think about it. So I believe that next live stream, I might have a better answer for you, or a different answer for you than Chrono Cross. But for right now, that's what I'm going to go with. Ugh. That's true. It is designed to be replayed. It does have like that speed up feature in the New Game Plus. So there is that. Michael Swirsky says, David, cardio! Love it or leave it. I can't do weights without skimping on the cardio and vice versa. I am not aware if you were in the previous live stream where I talked about my cardio. And for those of you who were, for all of my original girls who were in the original live stream and who will know what I'm about to talk about, you can inform him. But there's a great way to incorporate cardio and video games. And I'm going to get to it after I read this donation. I'm just going to leave it hanging right there. This is from Severed Legs. Chrono Cross also has a major story branch with different events, bosses, depending on what you choose at one point. Good replay. That is very, very true, although there is only one branch that is the best branch, which is the one that you get Glenn. I seem to know a lot about Chrono Cross for really hating it. For not really playing it all that often, I seem to know a lot about it. Anyway, back to Michael's little question about cardio. And being able to play games or do some work, even if you work from home or, just watching TV or whatever. Here we go, original girls. Here we go. Ta-da! It's the Underdesk Cycler that I use pretty damn often. Pretty much every single day I use this thing. Just yesterday, I got about an hour of cardio as playing Ease 9. So yeah, you can incorporate it that way. Or you could use a regular cardio machine at the gym. You could watch, you know what you could watch? You can watch my Let's Plays or my top 10s while you're at cardio at the gym. That's what you could watch. No, you could watch, like, there's, what are those things called? It's whenever you play the game really quickly. I don't remember what they're called. The fast runs. It's those things. You could watch one of those. Those are interesting. I like watching those. Those are fun. Okay, let's go back through these comments. Let's see. Riz S. Oh, I'll get to your question in a second. He says, I think I'm getting a Wii. Any tips for an RPG? Xenoblade Chronicles, Arc-Rise Fantasia. I could say, well, no. I could say that, but I'm not going to. I was going to say Tales of Symphonia Dawn of the New World, but no. As much as I like Tales, I'm not going to recommend that one. From Matthew Phillips. He has 3 questions. Number 1, do you ever play Radical Dreamers? I have played Radical Dreamers. I played it a long time ago, back whenever it was first translated, and I turned it on, and I was like, what in the hell is this? I thought this was supposed to be like a sequel to Chrono Trigger, and it was a visual novel. And I went through it, and I'm like, I'm not a fan of visual novels, but I went through Radical Dreamers just because I like Chrono Trigger that much, so hopefully that tells you just how much I like Chrono Trigger, that I was able to suffer through the slog that is Radical Dreamers. Number 2, do you consider visual novels as JRPGs? For the most part, no. They're their entirely own genre. An exception that I would make to that would be if you were to approach certain games as a visual novel rather than a JRPG, they might be a little bit better. For instance, the Trails of Cold Steel games. A lot of people go on about the dialogue in those games, but if you approach it more as a visual novel than as a JRPG, it can work for you. There's also a horrid game on the PlayStation called Shadow Madness. Approach that as a visual novel, and you'll like it a lot better too. Number 3, does your husband sometimes walk by while you're gaming and he gives a passing comment like, who's that guy? No, he doesn't. No. For the most part, whenever Ken knows that I'm playing a game, he normally just kind of leaves me alone because he knows that I'm just kind of doing my thing. The only other time that he would bother me would be like if somebody called him and was like, hey, do you want to go get dinner? Or do you want to go out and have a drink or something? Then he'd come up and be like, hey, do you want to go out? And I, of course, would say yes. But yeah, he never really comments on the game itself. And it also could just be because of the layout of the house. Normally, he is downstairs watching TV, whereas I am upstairs on the total opposite end of the house. So he doesn't really get a chance to come up over this way. But very good questions. Thank you so much for the donation, and thank you for the questions. Oh, Riz S., back to your question about Wii RPGs. You know what? Hold on one second. What are my Wii RPG suggestions? He wants Wii RPG suggestions. Let's give it to him. Xenoblade Chronicles: The Last Story, Pandora's Tower. I guess you could get Tales of Symphonia: Dawn of the New World, but there is a remake of this on the PlayStation 3, and it's a bundling of Tales of Symphonia 1 and 2. This is just Super Mario Brothers Wii. Super Paper Mario, this is in that crummy GameStop case, but I can't even recommend that either. My Apuna... Where's this webcam? How come it's not... There it is. Now it's going straight. Apuna, I also would not recommend. It was on the most boring RPGs. It is a Wii RPG, and you can probably get it super cheap, like this one. If you can see that, I got it for like $269. Yeah, that's probably not even worth $269. Oh, I forgot about this one. Muramasa the Demon Blade. That's a pretty cool one. Little King Story. This is like a tower defense game. Dragon Quest Swords. If you feel like throwing at your shoulder, get yourself some Dragon Quest Swords. And then, best game ever, Arc-Rise Fantasia. Okay, so hopefully that covers some Wii RPG suggestions. Let's get back to the comments. Oh, let's see. TV Ang, what was the first game that you ever beat? I'm going to say this, it wasn't a JRPG. The first game that I ever beat was actually Contra for the NES, and we beat that because of the Konami code. My brother and I put in the Konami code, we got 30 lives, and we went through and we beat Contra. That was the first game I ever beat. After that, I think I beat Metroid for the NES because we learned about the Justin Bailey code. Those of you of a certain age will know who Justin Bailey is. There was a Justin Bailey code in the original Metroid. What was I going to say? Oh, it was in classified information for the Nintendo Power, and it made you go really get really powerful. Let's see. Let me go back to these comments. Let's see where we're at right now. Oh, it's speedruns. It's speedruns. Everybody's telling me it's speedruns. Speedrun sis. I know. Oh, another donation. Thank you. This is from Moo Boy Moo. Hey, have you ever been to the website coverproject.com? You can print a new cover for... Really? I've never even heard of coverproject.com. But yeah, I have a lot of those really crummy GameStop covers. So I would like to do that. Maybe make my collection look just a little bit faster. Oh God, another donation. This is from Marco P. I love your channel. It's nice to take a break from work and watch your videos. Well, thank you so much. I enjoy creating the videos, and I really enjoy just sitting around talking with y'all. This is like my new favorite thing to do. Like really, like this is my new favorite thing to do. I don't have to worry about like playing a game, because whenever I do a Let's Play, I have to like pull out the guide and write down all these places and pull up a map and like figure out what I'm doing and where I'm going and all this kind of stuff. It's like there's a whole process to it. You might not think there's a whole process to it because I make it look easy, just saying. But there's definitely a process to it. There's no process. I'm just being me. I'm just sitting down and having a good old time. Games done quick. That's what it is. Yeah, games done quick. Turn that on. That is some nice stuff. Oh, and that's from Tom Derry. I mentioned you earlier in the channel or in the chat, Tom. Thank you so much for the hacked DS. Thank you. Let's see. Where are we going at? Oh, Dynasty Girl says Fire Emblem Path of Radiance. It's expensive, but it's the best game on the Wii. It is expensive. It is definitely expensive. And I thought that I had a copy. I could have swore I had it. Maybe I gave it to my brother. Maybe I gave it to my brother. Oh, that's what it was. Okay, Path of Radiance was a GameCube game. That's what it is. My GameCube games are up there too. Because I know that there was also another one for the Wii. And I ended up not buying it because I think that I went ahead and I emulated it on the Dolphin instead. Oh, here's a donation. It didn't pop up on the top though. This is from Koda Kusanagi. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I really am. I'm very, very sorry. This is from Coda. Your top 10s is like ASMR in my ears as I sleep. Well, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Where are we at? Mung Lata says thoughts on turn or wait, I imagine it's not turn based, he means tactical RPGs. I like tactical RPGs, but as I've said before, I don't like them in the Fire Emblem vein. I like them more in the Wild Arms XF, the Final Fantasy Tactics, the Tactics Ogre vein, where you get access to a robust job system, you can kind of get extra characters, there's no permadeath, you can grind to your heart's content. I don't like it whenever there's permadeath, when you can't grind, whenever you're forced into various classes and it's just like, and it's really hard, like, I don't know. Like, I play games to relax, not to like feel like, oh, this is so hard. It's like freaking me out. Mivox says, what's your drink of choice, beer or cocktails? I'm going to go with cocktails. I haven't really had much beer, and you're going to think that I'm a vain little gay, and maybe I am, but beer has so many calories that I'd rather stick to a cocktail, so there you go. Let's see. Anthony Castro, I just wanted to say that it's very cool that you do this. It makes your channel extremely personable because you interact with your viewers a lot. Not that it's not personable already. Well, thank you, Anthony. I thoroughly enjoy doing this. Roberto Robert says, how have you been able to make that setup work for you and Ken asking for an eternally single friend? Ken and I I don't want to say that we don't share interests, because we do, but we don't share hobbies, and we've never shared hobbies. I have never tried to force Ken to play a game, and he has never tried to force me to watch football or go to a game or, learn how all this wiring nonsense that he's doing. And, he's never forced me to learn how to do computers. He knows that's not my thing. He does it for me. I've also never, because there are some times that I read on like these Facebook groups that I'm in where these men are like, I'm trying to get my girlfriend into playing video games. What's a good game to give her? And I'm thinking to myself, why? If she doesn't want to play a game, don't make her. Just let her do you. Let her do her own thing. Let her do what she wants to do. And I feel like if I was like, Ken, sit down right now and you're going to play Chrono Trigger because it's just the best game ever made and you're just going to have to, Ken would just resent me. And he wouldn't enjoy it, and I wouldn't enjoy it either. And I feel no reason to do that. So yeah, I think it's healthy to have separate separate hobbies. You don't need to be joined at the hip 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. It's perfectly all right to have separate interests. It's normal and it's healthy, and there is nothing wrong with that. Chris asks, any chance to get a Suikoden 3 Let's Play? More than likely not. I would more than likely do a Wild Arms 3 Let's Play before I did a Suikoden 3 Let's Play. It's just so long. I would, if anything, I might just skip over Suikoden 3 and go straight to Suikoden 4 Tactics and 5. It's just so long and so boring. Oh, let's see. Where are we at? Oh, thank you. A lot of people just saying I love your videos. People are talking about various tactical RPGs. Let's see. Adam JK says, I just finished Archlad 2. It was a massive game. Very happy that I finished it. Did you play through it? I did. I have the Archlad collection back there. I played through all of the various Archlad games, even the ones for the PlayStation 2. Some were better than others. We'll just put it that way. Bloodbath McGrath says cocktails can be loaded with calories too. Well, yeah, they can, but not if you get a Jack Daniels and Diet Coke. Then there's just some calories, but not as much. It's not like I'm having a Sex on the Beach or a trash can or something. It's just the calories from the Jack. So yeah. Oh, where are we at? Oh, they jumped again. Again, these comments are jumping. Let's see. Gamer Shark, how much can you bench, David? I can bench 235 without a spotter. I can do more with the spotter, but I normally, I used to do, maxing out and all that, but I don't do that anymore. I used to do that whenever I was in high school. In high school, there was a weight training class that you would take, and they would force you to max out. They would say you have to max out, and yeah. Oh God, all these comments are popping up. But I haven't done that since I've left high school. I just work. I don't work out to be Mr. Max Muscle Man or whatever. I just work out to be healthy, and I like it. Oh, another donation from Matthew Phillips. I feel you on being turned off by 3D Zelda games. I felt similarly to 3D adventure games such as Mario, Donkey Kong, Metroid. Same goes for 3D tactical RPGs. Whenever Dragon Quest VIII came out, and I found out that it was going into kind of that 3D mode, the overworld, the 3D mode and everything, I was like, oh no, they're gonna ruin my favorite they're gonna ruin my favorite franchise. This is gonna be horrible, horrible, horrible. But because it is Dragon Quest and it's my favorite series, I of course forced myself to play it. And guess what? It was perfectly fine. But there was also no Z-targeting. There was also no aiming with a slingshot. There was also no, action-based combat. So, yeah, maybe it's just because it was a turn-based RPG. I can do with that. Where are we at? Let's see. Oh, the comments jumped all the way up to the top. Now I have to go back down to the bottom where I was. I'm sorry. Let's see. Some people are just talking amongst themselves, and that is perfectly fine by me. I think I actually, you know what? That's also one of my favorite things about these live streams, is that once I'm done with the live stream, I'm such a little dork, and I'll sit there and I'll go back through it, and I'm like, now I'm really gonna read the comments, because I can only hit the highlights here right now. I can only see what I see, but I like to go back and I like to read what y'all are talking about. And I noticed this last time that there's people asking me questions, but then you guys are also asking each other questions. And there's little side conversations going on. And I think that's so cute. I think that's so nice. I really like that. I feel like I'm really building a community here, or building something special here. And I think that that's so nice. Dynasty Girl. You like cocktails and mixed drinks? You haven't lived until you've had a Sex on the Beach. It's a tropical fruit drink made with Captain Morgan's coconut rum, I know, and they are yummy. Love them. Love them, love them, love them. And honestly, normally what happens is I'll go out to the garage, which is my gay bar of choice. I'll go there and I'll be like, I'm going to be really good. I'm just going to have, one drink tonight. Then I'll have another one. And after about 2 drinks, I'll be like, fuck it, I want a Sex on the Beach, let's go. And then, and at that point, you know that I'm drunk, and I just start downing them. And, because, you hang out with your friends, and you're just having a good time, and all that kind of stuff. Let's see. Oh, okay. People are talking about calories and alcohol. Let's see what I want to talk about. Oh, Knight Cerberus says, will we still get the Joan of Arc Let's Play, or did Mother just replace it completely? I'm not entirely sure on that. I do know that I do want to do the Mother trilogy afterwards. After Mother is done, there's a part of me that wants to keep in the SNES era and maybe move over to maybe some of the translated games, maybe move into Final Fantasy 6 or 5, maybe go into the Heaven and Earth trilogy. Maybe I will do the Joan of Arc Let's Play as well. To answer your question, I don't have an answer. I don't know. I'll probably put up another poll, and I'll probably put Joan of Arc in as one of the options of the games to choose from. Oh, where are we at? iCabal says, thoughts on the Shining Force series. My thought... Okay, so I've said this before. Whenever I was a kid, I wanted a Sega. Did my parents buy me a Sega? No. Why didn't my parents buy me a Sega? Say it with me, viewers. Because they're the same thing. You have a Nintendo. A Sega is a Nintendo. They're the same thing. Yeah, well, we all know that that's not the case. Anyway, so I wasn't able to play Phantasy Star or Shining Force or all that kind of stuff until I was older, until emulation came out. But believe me, I did, and they are a lot of fun, and I like the Shining Force games. And don't shoot me for this, but I like the Shining Force games better than the Fire Emblem games. I know that that is heresy because there is, a lot of people who like Fire Emblem. And, okay, again, it's not like I hate Fire Emblem. It's not like it's Chrono Cross, for God's sakes. It's just that it does so many things to punish the player. It's like, you want to enjoy yourself? Too bad! You're dead forever. Oh, you're underleveled and you want to grind? Too bad! You can't. Oh, you want to try and get some more gold to buy some stuff? No such luck. You're not doing that. It just does everything in its power to piss you off. And I don't play games to get pissed off. I play games to relax and to have fun. And I don't understand why the game wants to punish you. It doesn't make any sense to me. Oh, another donation. This is from, I'm going to butcher this, and I know that it has a real name, and I've seen it before, and I'm trying to think of how it's pronounced. It's from Chibi Cluthulu? Oh my god, I know, I'm terrible. Hello, David. I was wondering how you feel about other genres of games. Do you like survival horror at all? Big love from me. Well, thank you. As far as other gaming genres are concerned, whenever I was a child, I would play other games. I would play all sorts of other games. Metroidvania games, which were known as action-adventure games. I would play the Mega Man games. I would even play shooters. I would play things like Kid Icarus. I played RC Pro-Am, even with that stupid yellow car that always cheated at RC Pro-Am. I would play Rad Racer, the Adventure Island series, Street Fighter, all that kind of stuff. But once the floodgates opened up during the PlayStation era, the golden age, was ushered in, and the floodgates of all the JRPGs came in, I didn't have time to play any other genres. Just keeping up with the JRPGs was enough for me, because back in the day, there were 5 true JRPGs on the NES. There was the 4 Dragon Warriors, there was Final Fantasy, yeah, there was some other stuff. There was Willow, there was Crystallis, there was some other stuff. There was Star Tropics, that sort of stuff. But there was only a couple true turn-based RPGs back when. But on the PlayStation 2, so many more got released that I just didn't have time to play all those other kind of filler games, I guess. Let me get some water. Lemon Drop Shots, 0 Gold says, Lemon Drop Shots are good, definitely not keto, though. That is very true. I am, Lemon Drops and Pineapple Sit-Down Cakes are my 2 favorite shots if we're going to be talking about alcohol. Oh, another donation. This is from Butch Le Colosse. I want to get into the Trail series, but the requirement of playing every game in order is overwhelming. Any tips are not feeling discouraged? It is overwhelming, I've got to say. If you want to, and I know I might get, harangued in the comments for this, but if you want to get into the Trail series, it might be best for you just to wait until the next release, because it's going to be moving on to a different country. It's going to be moving on to Calvard, and then there you can kind of start over. And in the meantime, you can catch up on Trails in the Sky, and then Trails of Zero and Azure, and then the Cold Steel series. That's completely up to you. There's also some YouTube summary videos out there. If you search on my channel for Legend of Heroes summary videos, they are out there on my channel. Just saying. Also, you don't have to play all of them. Certain games can be conceivably skipped. Most notably, Trails in the Sky the Third can be skipped. You would be missing out on a lot of stuff, but I mean, if you have to skip one, that's the one to skip. So yeah. Where are we going on? People are still talking about... M. Evox says, my cheap ass Mrs. Applebee's dollar strawberry vodkas. You and me too. Girl, same. I am right there with you. Oh, another donation from Matthew Phillips. David, are you saying we're your Pikmin community? I know that Pikmin is a puzzle game, but I don't understand the reference because I haven't really played Pikmin. Like I've said, the other games kind of fell to the wayside, so I am aware that Pikmin is some sort of like Lemmings puzzle game, but I hope that what you're trying to say is that the community gets together and gets along and all that, because that's what I want. I don't want any fighting or stupid drama. If I want drama, I'll go to a gay bar. Like, my God. Oh, another donation. This is from Tales of Brian, and it shows a hippo doing some racing or something. That's super cute. Thank you, Tales of Brian. Oh, Heaven and Earth would be cool. I was thinking about doing those, and I even went out and I bought another copy of the Grandstream Saga, because as a dumb teenager, I played the Grandstream Saga, and I beat it, and then I was like, okay, time for the next game, and I turned it into GameStop. And I'm sure many of you can relate to doing something like that whenever you were a kid too. And I found a copy of Grandstream Saga. I purchased it off of eBay. I think it was like $8 because, it's a terrible game. But I have it, and the reason why I purchased it is because emulation for it doesn't really work all that well. Where are we at? Oh, my comments jumped again. I'm doing a little bit better keeping up with comments, but then every once in a while they will jump. Oh, people are telling me how to pronounce that. It's Cthulhu. Cthulhu. What is that from? I've seen it so many times, but I don't know what it's from. I am assuming it's from like a Star Wars movie or something. I don't even know what the Cthulhu is from. I really have no idea. I've seen it. I am aware of it. I have no idea what it is. I'm very sorry. I've said it before. Maybe it's from an anime for all I know. I've said it before. I've said it again. I don't really watch anime. I really have no idea. So, and honestly, I don't really even watch like sci-fi things. And I know that makes me a huge outlier in this community. But, everybody has their own interests. Certain people are interested in certain things. And again, that's perfectly all right. And my interest, personally, in my studies was always history. Fresh out of college, I taught history, actually. I taught high school history. And I've always been interested in history. And because of that, I have gravitated much more towards historical dramas. Costume dramas, things like that. Downton Abbey, Bridgerton, all that kind of stuff on Netflix that you see, things like that. I've never really been into Star Wars or Star Trek or Doctor Who or any of that other stuff. I just am not into that sort of stuff. Where are we going? Let's see. Danny Lim said, good morning, David. Where are you at? He said, people in the chat just woke up and saw this. Now I'm just wondering, where do you live that it's morning time? It's probably, obviously, the other side of the world, because it's almost 5 o'clock here. Let's see. That's right. Cthulhu had a cameo in Cosmic Star Heroine, and then there was also the Cthulhu Saves the World, which was a sequel to the Breath of Death 7 game on the Steam. So yeah, they've had cameos. I've never been able to pronounce it. I just see the name. I am aware of the name. I don't know what it is. Timbermaniac. Willow had a game. It did. An NES game. And it was actually pretty damn good. It was really good. It was, if I had to, if I had to compare it to anything, I would compare it to probably like Crystallis. Probably Crystallis. Let's see. Oh, yeah, some people are saying the Gagharv trilogy. The Gagharv trilogy has nothing at all to do with the Trails in the Sky, Trails of Cold Steel, Trails of Zero. It's its own self-sequestered trilogy. I have a donation from Jeffrey Wright. What are your feelings on the Kingdom Hearts series? Also, since you love tactical RPGs, have you tried the Vandal Hearts series? I've spoken about Kingdom Hearts before. I've played the first and the second game trying to get into them, and they do seem fun, but I was never able to really get into them all that much. And then there was like this timed boss that I had to fight, and it really just kind of got on my last nerves. I have tried the Vandal Hearts series. Of the trilogy, I do feel like the first one was the best one. Let's see. Moving on down. Oh, people saying they like my outfit. Thank you. Sorry, I'm having to get some water here. I'm trying to stay on the stream just a little bit longer than normal. So I actually brought some water this time with me. Oh, where are we at? Okay. Okay, so the Cthulhu is from H.P. Lovecraft novels. Is that right? Okay, it was a book, The Call of Cthulhu, in 1928? Really? It's that old? Wow. Who knew? Man, I had no idea that was such an old book. I was assuming that it was something maybe written in the 70s or the 80s. Wow, in the 20s. That's kind of crazy. Okay, moving right along. Oh, okay, so Danny, he is from Malaysia, and it's 8:55 a.m. there. I have not... I've been to that part of the world before. I've been to Singapore, but I have not yet been to Malaysia. So the Singapore trip was a really fun trip. We actually did a cruise. We did a cruise going out of Sydney, Australia, all the way up the Australian coast, and then ending in Singapore. It was a 16-day cruise, and I had a blast with it. We spent some extra time in Singapore as well. Daniel Hardy asks, what is the major appeal of RPGs for you? The stories, the battle systems, the incremental growths, thinking about a philosophical discussion. I don't know if I can philosophize about JRPGs for you, but I will say that to me, it's just kind of being able to grow my character, being able to know that, like, when I turn off the game, like, not all is lost. You know, like back in the day, whenever you would play Mario or whatever, and, you know, you would play the game, you get to a couple levels, but whenever you turn off the game, you had to restart. And it kind of felt like you were wasting your time, you know? But with gaming, or with but with RPGs, I felt like I was like invested in something. I was really doing something that mattered. I was on an epic journey, and I could keep on doing it day after day after day after day, and just plugging away at it. And like I felt like what I did really mattered, and I had a really I've just always liked JRPGs for that reason. It was just something to get lost into. Whenever you grow up in a, I don't want to say anything bad about it, but whenever you grow up in a place where you don't have a lot of friends and there aren't a lot of people around, and nobody really understands you as a person, it's nice to be able to get lost in a game world, and RPGs allowed me to kind of forget who I was and forget what my problems were as a child and kind of get lost in something bigger than myself. And that's really what I like about RPGs. So yeah, I hope that makes sense. It's probably not exactly a philosophical discussion, but yeah. Oh, where are we at? Have I played Evolution for the Dreamcast? I know that you hate random dungeons, but I wanted to hear your opinion. This is from Matabi Shippuden. I have not played Evolution for the Dreamcast, but I have played Evolution Worlds for the GameCube, which was, I'm not going to say an enhanced port because it was kind of, you guys know how I like Popula Croix on the PSP, and Popula Croix is actually, like, it's Popula Croix and Popula Croix 2 and Popula Rogue, and it's all kind of joined together and mashed into one game for the PSP. That's the same sort of thing that happened with Evolution Worlds. They took Evolution 1 and 2 from the Dreamcast, and they kind of, like, mashed them together into one game. So maybe it's better on the Dreamcast, maybe it's not, but I have played the game, and I want to say pretty sure that I included it in one of my worst dungeons videos, because yeah. You know what I probably should have included it in? One of those worst voice acting videos. Man. Okay, let's see. Heike Kagero says, do you like farming games like Harvest Moon, Story of Seasons, or Stardew Valley? My main exposure to farming sim games has been Harvest Moon. Not Harvest Moon Friends of Mineral Town, or Harvest Moon 64, or Harvest Moon 3D, or whatever else Harvest Moon there's out there. It was Harvest Moon. And Harvest Moon is boring as hell. Like, it starts off okay. Well, actually, no, let me take that back. It starts off boring too. Because you have to clear your entire field. And what you do in Harvest Moon is they have like a fatigue meter, but you can go to the mountains and you can rest in the spring and you can replenish your fatigue. So if you're anything like me, you went through the very first night and you cleared out the entire field and you went back and forth between the farm and the mountain and the farm and the mountain and the farm and the mountain to clear the entire field and to keep on regenerating your health or your fatigue meter or whatever it was. And that got pretty boring pretty quickly. But then you start planting your little plants and you're getting, more money and more seeds, and it's starting off fine, but pretty soon you have so many plants and so many rows and rows and rows and rows of crops, and you're so overwhelmed by watering, because you have to water each little tiny individual crop by hand with your watering can, and it takes forever. So you have to go through and go, you could finish watering 50% of your crops, and then have to go back to the mountain, heal up, go back, keep on watering these crops. It takes forever. You pray for rain. It is the most boring, monotonous thing I've ever played in my entire life. And maybe they've made it better. I mean, I hope to God they've made it better. I can't imagine how it remained popular if they didn't make it better over the years, but man. Not to disparage or besmirch Harvest Moon in any way. I'm sure it's gotten better over the last 24 years, but good God. For those of you in the comments who are like, I don't know how you can't like Harvest Moon. Have you played the one on the SNES? Because if you played that one, you would know how I wouldn't like Harvest Moon. Another donation from Moo Boy Moo. The Cover Project is an awesome website for video game collectors. Whenever I bought Suikoden 2 used, it was the only disc, so I got a case and I printed out a new cover, write it down, or bookmark it. Thank you so much for that information. I will do that because now would be the perfect time to tell my Suikoden 2 story. And I'm pretty sure that I might have told a portion of this story in one of my top 10 lists, but now I'm going to tell you the full story, the rest of the story. So, Suikoden 2 was incredibly rare whenever it first came out, but I really liked Suikoden 1. And a lot of the times, a game would come out and I would look at it and I would be like, oh, I'll wait till it goes down in price and then I'll buy it then. But this one, it was not going down in price. And so then I got on the phone book. I'm going to age myself. I got on the phone book and I called up pretty much every single GameStop within like a 50-mile radius of my house to ask if they had Suikoden 2. And the best part about this phone conversation was I would say, do you have Suikoden 2? And they go, what? Suikoden 2? What's that? It's a game for the PlayStation. Say it again. Suikoden 2. Could you spell it? Suikoden. Imagine calling about 30 different GameStops and doing that at every single one. Fun stuff. Anyway, I was able to find my copy of Suikoden 2, and I had to drive roughly 50 miles to get it and spend about $80 for the pleasure. And just like him, just like Moo Boy Moo, guess what? It didn't come with a manual or a cover. Just came in one of those crappy GameStop jewel cases. Oh, another donation. This is from iCabal. Speaking of cover art, a video on your favorite box arts would be nice. I'm always interested in regional differences on box arts. I never really even thought about something like that. That would be actually somewhat interesting. Maybe looking at my box arts and then looking at what they look like in Europe versus what they look like in Japan. I always find that it's funny to look at specifically Kirby. And I'm going to mention Kirby because I love Kirby. I think that Kirby is the cutest little puffball. I love him. Anyway, in America, Kirby's like, I'm evil, I'm a badass Kirby, I'm a badass marshmallow, I'm gonna kick your ass. But in Japan, Kirby's just so happy-go-lucky, and he's so funny, and he's so great, and he's so nice, and I just think it's so cute how Japan is like, yeah, let's just embrace the cuteness of Kirby, and America's like, Kirby's not gonna sell unless he's kicking ass and taking names. So, yeah. Achille Goramai, I'm very sorry again about the name pronunciations. I feel like this isn't said enough, but RPGs helped teach me to read and expand my vocabulary as a kid. Girl, same. I remember as a child, I really had no desire to read. I thought that reading was dumb. I thought that reading was stupid. I was like, this is hard. It's, I had a vision issue as well. I had to get bifocals, for God's sakes. I'm not even going to say glasses because they weren't glasses. They were freaking bifocals. And, anyway, so I had no desire to read. And I remember my brother, would sit there and read to be like, I'm reading and you can't read this. And I'd be kind of jealous, but I wouldn't care. And I'd be like, I don't want to read your stupid book anyway. But anyway, once I started playing RPGs, specifically Dragon Warrior, I was like, I better learn how to read if I want to know what in the world's going on. It was the main 100% reason why I got to read. However, that being said, I'm sure that if I was a child now, I would want to learn how to read because reading has become, as I say, so fundamental. Reading is fundamental. But you can't do anything now. You can't get on the internet without reading. You can't go on Facebook. You can't do Instagram. You can't do any of the stuff that the kids do nowadays without being able to read. So in that case, I think it's good. I think it's great. Donation from Robert Stack. Suikoden 2 is the first game that I bought online. I rented it and I loved it, but I wanted to play Suikoden first, so I bought it on sale, but they sent me 2 instead. Wow, you are lucky. Good for you. I mean, Suikoden 1 is fantastic, don't get me wrong, but to have that mistake made, man, good for you. God, I wish I had a story like that. Good Lord. Oh, let's see. Kakishimi Usmali, I'm very sorry again. Are there any RPG or turn-based RPG games on the PlayStation 4? Are they any good? Well, there is, of course, Dragon Quest XI. There is the Yakuza Like a Dragon. I'm just thinking right at the top of my head. There's Yakuza Like a Dragon. There's the Dragon Quest XI. There is there's the Ni no Kuni 2 sequel. If I can go back and look at my games, I could just rattle them off to you in 5 seconds. But there are a lot of good turn-based RPGs on the PlayStation 4. But again, I can't think of them right at the top of my head because, yeah. Trying to read the comments, trying to answer questions, trying to look at this, trying to do 20 things at once. Yeah. Mivok says, reading is fundamental. Someone watches Drag Race or Paris is Burning. I don't know what Paris is Burning is, but I have watched RuPaul's Drag Race. Normally whenever I am drunk at a bar, because they always have it on at the gay bars, but also because I say that because I'm a teacher. If you weren't aware, I teach school, and there's posters all over the place that literally say reading is fundamental, but okay. Unless you're talking about like a gay guy reading someone, because I do that too. But only whenever I'm drunk. I turn into a different person whenever I'm drunk. Oh, let's see. Praetorixen? I'm gonna hope that that's the correct pronunciation for your name. How do you feel about the newer Fire Emblems, like Seiken Densetsu 3-esque, where you can choose between 2 classes to promote to, grind as much as you want, and turn off permadeath? You know what I'm going to say? That's a damn good start. I am a fan of those new Fire Emblems because permadeath can go permanently die in a fire. Screw that crap. There's nothing worse than spending, let's say that you get this guy at the very beginning of the game and you're working on him and you're working on him and you're working on him and you're leveling him up and you're getting the right stats and you're getting him all the good weapons, and then all of a sudden some wizard blasts the ever-loving crap out of him through a wall 20 stages later and the bitch dies. There's nothing worse. I hate permadeath. So whenever you can turn that off and the game doesn't punish you for playing it, yeah, I'm a fan. I like that. Since when is it a good thing that a game punishes you like that? There's one thing about having difficulty. I am perfectly fine with that. Some of my favorite games are hard games. Beyond the Beyond, Arc-Rise Fantasia. Some of my favorite games are hard games. But there's a difference between a hard game and a game that physically is like, you want to have fun? Let me just bitch slap you. There is a difference. Oh, another donation. Sorry, I was kind of into myself right there. From Stephen Hancock. Was there any recent RPGs that you were excited for but turned out to be disappointing? Or that you didn't have high hopes for but you ended up liking them? This again is another one I would have to go back and look at my collection, because this is another really, really very good question. RPGs that I'm excited for but turned out to be disappointing. Or ones that you had high... You know what? Let me turn that on its head. That I didn't have high hopes for but I ended up liking. This one, right here. This one. I did not have high hopes for Yakuza Like a Dragon. Let me tell you why. Because the Yakuza series used to be like an action battle-y sort of thing. It was like a dark atmosphere. It was very, it was like kind of on the cusp of a JRPG, but it wasn't a JRPG. It was like almost right there. And then it had like some Shenmue influences, and it was made by Sega, and it had like that kind of weird Sega-ish vibe. And I wanted to like the other Yakuza games, but I couldn't really ever like get into them. And then I heard about Yakuza Like a Dragon, and I was like, you know what? How many times have I gotten burned on regular Yakuza? But they say that it's turn-based. I'll give it a shot. And boy, am I glad that I did. That is a game that I did not have high hopes for, but I ended up liking. Conversely, games that disappointed me. You know what? Somebody else just in the comments. So this is a good one. Someone just in the comments. They mentioned Persona 5, and that's not the game that I'm gonna talk about. But a game that turned out to be disappointing, but you were excited for. Persona 3. Many people when it first came out were like, you gotta buy Persona 3, you gotta try it. I had already played Persona 1 and 2 on the PlayStation, and not a fan. So I was like, why the hell would I get Persona 3? I hated Persona 1 and 2. But then it even got a re-release with Persona 3 FES or FES or whatever it is with the added answer. So I'm like, okay, this is winning so many Game of the Year awards. It has this extra FES chapter. It should be really good. I will give Persona another chance. I'll get Persona 3. Everybody and their mother says that it's like the best thing since sliced bread. Give me some random dungeon, some bitch yelling at you that it's time to go to bed, party members that you can't even control, boring ass cutscenes. Ooh. Okay, let's move on from that. Let's move on from that question. Let's see. Theo Molinex says, permadeath via David's door is a punishment worse than sitting through the third birthday. Oh my god, that is funny. I forgot about the third birthday. Good lord. Oh, good lord. That thing was so just... Oh, that was just so good god. Okay. Michael Swireski. David, what is the chance of you having a history channel on YouTube as well? You are passionate about it, and I think that you would bring a fresh perspective to it. It's a lot for me just to have this one channel. My god, I can't imagine having two. There's it might look like all fun and games and easy. Oh, he just comes here, he sits down, he plays a game, and then he goes away and he's done. And it's so easy. This shit takes time. Like, my god, I never realized how time-consuming doing this is. And you guys might be thinking, yeah, he's just saying that. No, this shit takes time. Curtis Lee, have you ever played Radiata Store or Radiata Stories? I'm sorry. Every time I read it, I just read it as Radiata, but I know that it's Radiata, but whatever. Anyway, have you ever played it? Yes, I have. I have not played through both story lines, like the light and the dark stories, because it's such a long game. But I have played it, and I did enjoy it, but I also didn't go through it as a completionist. I feel like if I went through and I was like, I'm going to play this game, but I need to make sure that I get all, 172 characters? I need to make sure that I get every single last one. I think that I would just suck all the joy out of the game. So I went through and I played it to have fun with it. I did not play it to complete it. And I think that that is the proper way to play it. If it is one of your favorites, then, you can go through in a second playthrough and then play it to completion and get everybody and play the different paths. But I think it's a much better game if you play it just to, play it like you would a normal JRPG, not getting every single character on God's green earth. Oh, wow. I'm a Bubble, 123. Apparently, Persona 3 Portable is worse because they made the enemies HP sponges since they added the ability to control your party members. I did not purchase Persona 3 Portable because why? I already have it on the PlayStation 2 and I didn't like it there. Why am I going to buy a port of it on the PSP? Anyway, so I didn't buy it there, but I always heard, oh, it's better. But I'm like, you already burned me once. You're not going to burn me again. But man, hearing that it's even worse, like that's just, oof. Good Lord. Okay, where are we at? Oh, comments just jumped. They always keep on jumping. Let's see. I'm trying to find. Like, I had a comment that I wanted to read, but then they jumped, and now I'm kind of off. Michael 3. Do you like the Saga series? I like the Game Boy Saga series, and I like the SNES Saga series, the Romancing Saga games. The Saga Frontier games, I felt like they were either ridiculously difficult or just unfinished, if you know what I mean. And then there's Unlimited Saga, which is just a pile of freaking garbage. So yeah, the Saga series is hit and miss. Some are really good, like Final Fantasy Legend 2. Some are really bad, so it is hit and miss. I will say, if you are looking for a new Saga game, a game that is Saga in everything but name, play Alliance Alive. That is a Saga game without the Saga title. Daniel Harty says, what history do you like? I am a fan of world history. I'm not really into like the little teeny tiny minutia history. I like more overarching world history, especially history before the year 1500, before the world kind of came together, I guess. Like, people who know history know what I'm talking about. If you don't really know what I'm talking about. So obviously, Columbus sailed the ocean blue in 1492. So, the New World was discovered, and then, the conquistadors came out and they took it over, blah, 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 blah. I like the history before that, where there was a lot more unique cultures just spread all over the world. That's my favorite portion of history. And just reading about all these different unique cultures spread about the world. That is my favorite part of history. Oh, where are we at? Riz S. Have you ever played any Diablo games? I have. I played Diablo on the PlayStation. I used to rent it from Blockbuster all the time whenever I was a kid. It was a lot of fun. It was a really good game. I never actually beat it, but it was a very fun game to play on a weekend. Sometimes if I were to go spend the night at my friend's house, we would rent Diablo together. We'd always try to find one game to rent and kind of play together, and Diablo was always fun. There was another one, I think it was Romance of the Three Kingdoms, that we would rent and play. Uncharted Waters, New Horizons, all those games. So yeah. GB Cthulhu, I already forgot how to pronounce it, I'm sorry, asks, do you listen to music? If so, what kind of stuff do you like? For the most part, I am the person who listens to the oldie station in their car. I like 60s, 70s, 80s, pop hits, things like that. Like, I'll listen to Whitney Houston, Dolly Parton, Madonna, Air Supply. I love Motown music, Johnny Rivers, Thompson Twins, Mr. Mister, Shania Twain, Garth Brooks, Tim McGraw. I listen to more older stuff than anything else. Oh, let's see. Apparently you can play video games as an assignment in China. Who knew? Jaxie World. Oh my god, I love you. Okay. At first, I saw all the little hearts, and I was from Jaxie World. I saw all the little hearts, and I was like, "Oh God, is there a sex bot in here?" Because sometimes little sex bots will come in and they'll like take over my Let's Play comments, and I have to go through and delete them. But Jaxie World is not a sex bot. She is my favorite bitch. She commented, and I actually included her comment in the in that little honesty and integrity video that I did. And she was like, "Oh my god, some people can have some people can have like, their own opinion. Y'all queens are so basic." And I was like, "You go, girl, you tell them, you do it." Oh god. Sakura Mato asks, "What is the worst game that you've ever played?" There was one on the PSP, and I think it was called Dragoneer's Aria, and I think there was also another one called Spectral Souls, and both of them were so heinously horrible. I couldn't even play past like 5 minutes of either one of them. They were so horrible. So yeah, I'm sure there was some other junk that I played back on the NES, like Deadly Towers, that was just terrible. The people have spoken. They want a David on History channel where you give fun, fresh, and uncensored view on history. And then Theo is singing some Whitney Houston there. Oh, I love it. That's so funny. Oh, and Fabian Fadilia. Oh my god, you're gay. Well, you're just now figuring that out. That's just fantastic. Oh. Let's see. Where are we at now in the comments? Yeah, okay, yeah, the sex bots. Basically, the sex bots were people who would come in and be like, "I need a boyfriend. I love you. Do you love me? Kissy, 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 kissy." And then you would like go to their profile and they'd be like, "Donate to me, because I'm just a poor little girl." Like, it's just like, ugh. It was disgusting, and I had to delete all of them, and they were so annoying. Kyle asks, "Hey David, how would you rank the Legend of Heroes Trails series? I personally like Crossbell the best." Well, today's your lucky day, Kyle, because I happen to have a ranking all of the Trails games video on my channel that you can find whenever you search for it. I put that out roughly a year ago, where I rank every single Trails game from worst to best. So yeah, have fun looking up that little top 10 list. So yeah, they are out there. Yeah, the Arch Nelico games, they are pretty whack, gotta say. Where are we at? Have I played Night in the Woods? No, I've never heard of Night in the Woods. No, I have not played Night in the Woods. Yeah. Jaxie says, "I love female sex bot spamming gay men. Like, buzz off, Brenda." Yeah, no, for real. Like, know your audience. Like, come on, know your audience. Good Lord. What's your favorite RPG art style wise? There have been some beautiful JRPGs out there. The first one that comes to mind, oh, and this question is from Weaburger. The first JRPG that comes to mind that has a beautiful art style to me is Saga Frontier 2. It has like this, if you've never seen screenshots for it, look it up. It's gorgeous. It has like these hand-painted watercolor graphics or background. It is just absolutely gorgeous. I love it. Also the Mana series. The Mana series in general has some beautiful, beautiful graphics. And then I am a fan of, I know a lot of people might be more of a fan of like the hyper-realistic graphics, such as, for example, Final Fantasy VII or Final Fantasy VIII. Either one of those two will work for my little example. But even back then, I wasn't really a fan of that graphical style, because I felt like it was too modern. I felt like it wouldn't age well, and I felt like it just looked really blocky and dumb. Whereas at the same time, you had games like Suikoden that came out at the exact same time, really, as Final Fantasy 7 and 8, yet they've aged so much better because they didn't try to be 3D. They didn't try to be something that they're not. They just tried to have beautiful 2D graphics. And that to me is my favorite. Also, other games such as even Wild Arms 3 that do cel-shaded graphics. I'm a huge fan of that because like even though some people are like, oh, that's so kiddie. That's just like a cartoony style. You only like that if you're a little kid. No. Those are my favorites. I like graphics like that, like Dragon Quest VIII, Dragon Quest XI, Wild Arms 3, graphics that are cartoony like that. They age the best. They're colorful, they're nice, they're fun to look at. If you're going to play a game for 80 hours, it better be nice to look at. You know what I mean? This is coming from Okami. Very creative name, 1234. I just now got that. Very creative name, 1234 asks, have you played Okami? And yes, I have. And I'm sure that he's asking that in reference to me talking about beautiful artwork, because that is another absolutely gorgeous, gorgeous game. Nashi Lobo, are you into horror movies at all? What are some of your favorites? I am not really a fan of horror movies. I get scared very easily. I remember whenever I was in middle school, I was probably in 8th grade. It may have been like 9th grade high school, but I was, 14, 15 years old. And it was about midnight, and I couldn't sleep. So I'm flipping through the channels, and what do I see? Carrie. And I was like, oh, I've heard of this movie before. Everybody says it's so scary. And I'm watching it, and I'm like, this isn't scary. What's so scary about this? This isn't scary. And then it got to the prom scene with the pig's blood, and then her like killing everybody and using her psychokinesis powers to throw the knives and everything. And I'm like, okay, it's getting there, it's getting there. And then she goes home and she's crying, and all she wants is love and acceptance from her mother, but her mother's batshit crazy and is like, you're of the devil, you're going to hell. So Carrie has to do what she doesn't want to do, and not to spoil anything, but here we go. She has to kill her mother. And then it ends, and people are kind of at her gravesite, and they're like, this is the grave of Carrie, the crazy witch girl. Oh, let's all make fun of Carrie. And then the hand comes out of the grave, and it grabs the girl, and the girl just starts screaming. And then it ends, and it fades to black. And I could not sleep that night. Oh my God. That went from like, what's so scary about this? She's just some outcast girl that gets made fun of in high school and had her period during the locker room, the shower scene or whatever in the here I am spoiling the entire movie. She had her period in the in like a shower scene in the locker, and everybody threw bloody tampons at her. Like, my God, it was ridiculous. And I was like, this isn't scary. This is just kind of gross and creepy and weird. But boo, that got real scary real quick. Kina and Vivi is my favorite queer Final Fantasy couple. Jaxie World says that. I'm so happy, to quote Kina. Yeah, that's so cute. Whenever they get married, she goes, I'm so happy. So cute. So cute. So I can stay on for another 5 or 10 minutes or so. Then I think it's time for me to go. But this has been fun, so I can stay on for a couple more minutes. Why not? Let's see. Do I like cats? Dynasty Girl says, do you like cats? I do like cats. Growing up, I had a cat. Her name was Apollo. She was a little orange tabby cat, and she was so cute. She was the runt of the litter. She was teeny tiny. She was like maybe 8 pounds total. And it was only after we bought her that I realized I'm allergic to cats. So that's whenever I kind of got hooked onto Claritin. Yeah. Drake Dragon says you just end up feeling so bad for Carrie. And that's the truth. Like, I am a pretty empathetic guy. And I think that might be why I got into teaching school in general, is because I have a lot of empathy for a lot of people. And I almost feel like, yes, I was scared at the end, but I almost felt like I couldn't sleep because I was just so sad for her and for her circumstances, and all that kind of stuff. And it really just is very very sad. Jaxie World. But is Carrie as scary as the fact that Final Fantasy 13 has 2 sequels? Oh, Jaxie World, let me tell you something. Final Fantasy 13 2 wasn't that bad. I liked it. Oh, a donation. This is from Rick, too. Here's a few dollars for a few more minutes. Folks are enjoying the stream, my dude. Thank you. Thank you so much. And again, I am enjoying being here. I'm enjoying doing the stream. I'm enjoying being here. But, it's been an hour and a half or so, and the thing that's actually stopping me from going longer is my jaw. Like, it hurts. It physically hurts to talk this long. But yeah, Jaxie, Final Fantasy 13 2 wasn't that bad. As far as time-hopping JRPGs go, that was one of the good ones. Well, hell, as far as JRPGs where you have to have monster party members, that was one of the good ones. And really, I don't like games where you have to have monster capturing. I'm not a fan of the monster capturing in general. Timbermaniac, I see that he's talking about Chris Tales. He says it's a game on Switch, not Crystallis. I'm not sure what that's in reference to. Both games are fantastic. Crystallis was one of my favorite games ever. And story time! And I've told this story before. This is one of the few times in my life that my mother was kind of on my side whenever it came to gaming. Because a lot of the times, and I'm sure that a lot of you guys can relate to, when your mother would be like, what, are you going to sit on the Nintendo all day long? Get outside. And if I was your age, my mother would kick my ass out at 8 o'clock in the morning and wouldn't be back till sundown. If the street lights weren't on, we weren't allowed inside the house. If any of you guys can relate to that. Anyway, Crystallis was a game that I really liked. And I couldn't really ever find it, but I read so much about it on Nintendo Power. And then I finally found it at a video rental store called Video Wonderland, which was... We were so far deep into Appalachia that Blockbuster didn't even go out there. So there was a Video Wonderland. Anyway, they happened to have Crystallis. And I would rent it and rent it and rent it and rent it. And I finally asked my mother, and I said, can we just buy Crystallis? Like, we keep on renting it every single week. Can't we just buy it? So she's like, I'll go and ask. So she goes to the Video Wonderland, and she says, my son would like to purchase Crystallis. How much would this cost? She did this while I was at school. I didn't even know that she did this. She did this while I was at school. And she goes, how much would it cost? And then the guy was like, well, we don't sell games, we rent games, and you have to return it. So my mother's like, okay. So then the next day she goes back, but she had to wait to make sure that it wasn't the same person. She looked, she was like, she stayed in her car and she looked and she was like, oh, that's a different person. So then she went in and she's like, I'm sorry, my son rented Crystallis the other day, but he lost it. So how much do I owe you? She gave him $40 and boom, I got Crystallis. So yeah. So that was her way of of being like, screw you, I'm just going to buy this game. So yeah. Oh, Almighty Cinder says, my mom used to play Kirby's Avalanche and Super Bomberman 2 for hours on end. I loved Kirby's Avalanche. Kirby's Avalanche is a puzzle game. It is a Puyo Puyo game, but it was kind of retooled for the American audience to actually sell over here, so they put Kirby characters over Puyo Puyo characters. But anyway, it is one of the most fun puzzle games ever. In fact, let me just plug my Patreon again. My Patreon purgatory. Maybe a month ago, maybe 2 months ago, I made a top 10 list, and it was called Top 10 SNES Games. Notice, not RPG games or not RPGs or JRPGs, it was just Top 10 SNES Games. And I'm specifically not putting any RPGs in that list, and I made that list quite some time ago, and it's sitting on Patreon Purgatory right now. And Kirby's Avalanche, spoiler alert, is on that list. I loved Kirby's Avalanche. Super Bomberman, though. Have you ever played Super Bomberman with the 4-controller adapter thing, so you can do like a party mode? We used to go over to my friend Rebecca's house, and she had the Bomberman game, and we would go over there, and me and my brother and Rebecca and my friend Brianna, and we would sit down in their basement and play Super Bomberman. I'm not sure if it was 1 or 2 or 3 or whatever number it was. Maybe it was 2. I don't really know. But we would play that forever in party mode. Like, this was Mario Party before Mario Party existed, and it was so much fun. So much fun. I had a blast playing that. We would play that for hours and hours and hours. Yeah. Oh, where are we at? Let's see. Riz asks, what are your thoughts on Grandia? My thoughts on Grandia in a nutshell. Grandia 1, great. Grandia 2, even better. Grandia 3, absolute gutter trash. Grandia Extreme, bottom of the barrel, gutter trash. Grandia Parallel Trippers, which I have a Let's Play on my channel of, it's different. It's really different. It has a card-based battling system, almost akin to Batten Kaitos, but it has an overworld system akin to like Zelda Link's Awakening. It's really different. There's 40 characters, so it has like a Chrono Cross syndrome where you can recruit 1 million characters. All these Grandia 1 characters come in and join your party, and it's actually a lot of fun, and I'm pretty sure that I have a Grandia ranking video also sitting on my Patreon purgatory as well. So yeah. Oh, where are we at? My mom was the reason why I stayed out late. We used to play hide and go seek in the dark, and we would actually wait until, the sun went down, and then 3 neighborhood kids lived right next door to each other, and we would all play together. And we would have one person who was it, and the rest of the kids would go and hide all over these 3 different yards, and you'd have to go run and chase them, and you did it in pitch black darkness, and you'd be like running over lawn chairs, you'd be hitting trees, you'd be running through people's gardens and everything. Like, you look like burglars running around, but we didn't care. It was the 80s. We just had fun. We just had a lot of fun. I'm sure the parents hated us, but oh well. Oh well. It was fun. Yeah. Oh, where are we at in the comments? Let's see. Oh wow. Nintendo Ag says, I bought several NES games from a gas station as they decided to stop renting games. I've never heard of a gas station renting games. However, the Video Wonderland that I just referenced, it was not a standalone store. It was inside of a Kroger. So, yeah, like back in the day, they would have rental places all over the place. So my mother would, rent games as she was doing her grocery shopping. Okay, we'll answer one more question, and then I'll go, because my jaw is hurting me. I need to figure out which question I want to answer, though. Let's see. What? Adam JK says, a video store once told me if I wanted to buy Puppet Master 3, I'd have to give them $135. What? That's crazy. That's insane. Sakura Matau. A kid down the street stole one of my PS1 games after I let him borrow it, and I bit him so hard that he had to get 21 stitches. Holy crap. Good God. Okay, this is a good question to end the stream on. Riz S. What are your thoughts on PS5 and the Xbox Series X? And what do you want for JRPGs or other RPGs? Okay, so here's my thoughts on... Well, my thoughts on Xbox Series S is just... nothing. I have zero, zippo, zilch thoughts on it. It could not exist as far as I'm concerned. PlayStation 5, on the other hand, I have some thoughts on that. I am looking forward to a time that I can purchase the PlayStation 5 from Sony, not from some asshole scalper. And once I do, I am looking forward to playing games on it, such as the Final Fantasy 7 Intergrade, the Yuffie DLC. I'm almost positive that Tales of Arise will more than likely get released on PlayStation 4 as well as PlayStation 5, considering that I want to say even Tales of Berseria was released back on the PlayStation 3. Tales games are really good at doing cross-platforms like that. I believe that Final Fantasy 16 will more than likely be a PlayStation 5 exclusive, and that will probably be the game that sells me on it. I do not buy a console just to have a console. I'm not going to buy a console on day one so it can just sit there and not do anything. Back in the day, like back whenever the Super Nintendo was released, it released with games that were actually good, with like Mario World. I played the shit out of Mario World, and that was a system seller. System sellers... do they exist anymore? Are they still there? Are system sellers still a thing? Super Mario World was a system seller for the SNES. You had to buy the SNES to get the Super Mario Brothers or the Super Mario World. And, they don't have that. There is no system seller for me for a PlayStation 5. To me, why are you going to release a PlayStation 5 without an accompanying game that you want to play on it? There is no game that I want to play on it right now. Maybe there is if I played Call of Duty or something. I don't know. Beats me. I don't know what the hell's on this stupid thing for shooters and whatnot. I don't keep track of all that crap. But yeah, do you understand what I'm saying? Once Final Fantasy 16 comes out, that will be my system seller, unless Tales of Arise comes out first, and Tales of Arise is PlayStation 5 only. Then that would be my system seller. Or maybe if there's like a Ni no Kuni 3 that comes out, but they haven't announced that, or like a Dragon Quest 12. I don't know. But for right now, my thoughts on PlayStation 5 is, I want to get one. Do I want to get one right now? No. I have nothing, zero, zilch to play on it. Why am I going to buy a console just to put it on a shelf? Like, no, there's no reason for it. I have a donation from Hugo Aguirre 31. Nice live. Shame my phone is out of juice. Well, I'm very sorry. But thank you so much for your donation. Thank you, Hugo. And I think with that, with his phone being out of juice, and with my last question answered, and my last little tangent that I went off on about the PlayStation 5, we'll end this here. I need some chapstick or something. My lips are so dry now. But anyway, hope that you guys enjoyed this. And I, again, had a fantastic time doing this. And you know what? I kind of want to do it again tomorrow. Ken's still out of town. Ken is still in New Orleans. And I might join you with a drink tomorrow. Maybe I'll have a Jack and Diet. I'll have a drink here. Maybe some of you can join me with a drink too. So yeah, join me tomorrow. I'll be here. Be here or be square. Have a good day, guys. Bye.